Welcome to the Filthy Frank Show. If you're feeling suicidal, you've come to the right place. Because I want to fucking kill myself as well. Fuck you, I hate all of you. Oh, fuck yeah, this is the shit. Kill me now. Ugh. 2 foot of pink, 1 foot of stick, baby. 2 foot of pink. Yeah.
Hi again. Just another episode of No Man's Sky survival mode, and today we continue the Atlas path, which I have confirmed that you have to do 10 of these Atlas stations, which I've just finished. I don't know what episode it's going to be, but it's been recorded. But today we're just setting our base up, starting the Atlas path, and that's where we go. Here's the first Atlas path, or Atlas station, that we have travelled to. Luckily it was in the next star, so our star system. It was, because usually it's 4 or 5 to even 6 star systems away. So the first Atlas system, or Atlas station, was easy for us this time around. As I said, this is a heavily edited version of what we've done. As you see there was a transition. All this you'll see that within 20 minutes happened in 1.5 hours. So don't expect this to be a 20-minute journey or a 20-minute of gameplay. It is 20 minutes of gameplay, but it's edited down. But we do find a few recipes. One I was extremely excited about, meaning it would make it easier for us to get into one of these manufacturing buildings or operational built buildings, and would help in mining great chunks of resources. You may know that it might be these grenades that you can get for your gun, which I can confirm it is true. Oh, it's a blueprint for it. We see here we're going to the next system, but we do end up eventually getting another pirate. They don't back down. But luckily it's not one of them that we came across in the first episode where we was ambushed by 4, which to me it shouldn't happen in the tutorial part of the game. Pirates should be, but it should be able to try and attack you on the first steps, but not as 4. But anyway, I don't make the rules, I don't make the game, blah 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 blah. We're teleporting back to a home station for the first, a home base for the first time. We have all warp transitions and travelling to and fro to your base has been edited down. It doesn't last 5 seconds. You have to wait like 15 to 30 seconds. But here we're just gathering resources for now. Plutonium. Yeah, we are gathering plutonium, iron, thamium, because we need for the base, for like the corridors and the rooms. We need iron, and I think for corridors you need 20 iron, and for the rooms, basically the circular rooms, you need 100 iron. we do you'll see it in the next few episodes, or I think few, but that we have used glass domes and all that stuff. How you get the glass domes is not by normal means with the technicians and all that stuff. You have to buy them off buy the blueprints, but you don't worry. The way you buy the blueprints is in the actual base. So it did cost a few. Nevertheless, I'm in a leg for a few of the blueprints, but if you want to make your base look grand, you pay the price. We do here cause a sentinel to try and shoot us because we mine too much of their precious resources, because sentinels are, assholes at times. The sentinels need to learn to share, especially when I land on a planet that is really high alert of sentinels. Geez, I think some of the planets that we've landed on that are high alert or hostile with sentinels. I just named the planets Hell or some warning sign. But there was a few planets that I landed on that I had to land on just to get the resources, and they were high alert or hostile. But we in this series I have seen that we do come to a close call to never ever taking off from a planet because of a lack of resources like plutonium and thamium. I did rip my hair out a few times, but there was close calls, and I think it's because when you're in the first stages of this game, you lack the resources, of course, because you start out with no resources. But we will eventually build a storage unit or storage room. We will eventually build a garden to get the dough, ching ching, and probably eventually grow space weed as DM21 or Bicycle Walrus has quoted it in his playthrough. They call it space weed. This is the truth. Because it's called Nip Nip. The Geks like Nip Nip, according to certain sources, and of course the Gek treat the Nip Nip like weed, or space weed. But we build our terminals. We built the technician's terminal right there, and in the middle we built the construction terminal. The other terminals we need is science terminal, armory terminal, and the gardener terminal. And as I saw there, we built 5 rooms, excluding the one that you start off with. They're all in a starish type of setup, and of course the gardener room is going to be on top, because we plan to put domes on top of our base, and here we're just recruiting the technician and the science, the builder, the science and the the armory we will recruit later on, and gardener. We're just buying some resources here because I was too lazy to mine. Even though we're still mining, it's best to buy some resources, because sometimes you may lack the resources on your planet, or you don't really want to trek half a planet just to get something simple. And plus, keep in mind, we don't have the land vehicles yet, so that can play a factor in the resources that you need. And plus, if you walk all day, most of this was walking. In this video, most of it was walking. So you see why I cut some things out, because I don't want to show you like 20 minutes of walking. Who would want to watch that? So I just had to sit back, edit this video to something that is watchable. Here we're just gathering some blueprints, one for the actual land vehicle, which we finally have, but we need to get the resources, and we get the ability to get the a beacon, a blueprint for a beacon. But now we need for construction geck some Spidomium. Here's the fight with the pirate. We win, of course. Through this series we have died a few times, which I think in one of the episodes you'll see me die a handful of times, because on the planet they lacked resources for my life support and lacked resources for my craft to get off the planet. But I eventually gathered enough of the resources to get on the planet. Off the planet, not. But here we found an operations building, so we're breaking in. I don't know what the blueprint was for this, as a matter of fact. I think it was one of the important resources. Don't worry, when you break in, they ignore you. Oh yeah, it's suspension fluid, which is needed, or it's the first crucial thing you need to make for a warp fuel, which now is great. We can now fully create warp fuel without buying the suspension fluid. So I think we go back and just mine some trees and make some suspension fluid. But yeah, we go back to our base. But I won't tell you what happens after the 10th Atlas station. As a matter of fact, yeah, you get 10 Atlas stations, but you really get 11, because one of them is you have to keep in mind, you have to keep them Atlas stones that what the Atlas station gives you, which is Atlas stones. You have to keep them. You can sell them, but you won't be able to continue the Atlas path after the 10th visit, or you wouldn't complete the path unless you could buy the Atlas stones back, which you can, but they're really dear. I think I saw them for 2 million units. But I think once you get them stones, you get something. You get I don't know really what you get. You don't get to restore what it's interesting. But here we're just mining some resources, and here we're just mining a shield so that we can survive a bit longer. Yeah. Because this planet is prone, or you're prone to freeze to death on this planet. I have seen some planets that the shield isn't affected by the weather. I would call them perfect planets. And I wish that the first planet you go on was a perfect planet, but here we found one of these landing pods, so we buy a slot in our suit. In one of the episodes, we do dedicate one episode on just getting and finding these landing pods, just to get our suit up to scratch and have plenty for the road ahead. But we do then eventually decide to focus on, once we had enough slots, focus on other things, even though we didn't fully buy all our slots yet as of this recording. I can confirm that hasn't been the case for the other recordings, but we didn't have enough resources for another shield, so we just retreated to a cave. And here we found an operation station here, so we gave this person some carbon, or 10 carbon, and he gives us a plasma launcher, which is a grenade basically. So what we do is we try and find some iridium, which is that blue stuff, and we mine some and make a grenade launcher effectively. But once we did it, we just went nuts with it. As you'll see soon, we just start carving up the land and make us like a tunnel. But the majority of this now is just me just mucking around with a tunnel. But to be honest, this was to this part of the journey that you see is for me to get to that greenish marker, which is an operational building, operations building or something. And we don't complete that journey, but you'll see that in the next episode. I was completing this journey, and luckily, since some of these buildings have a land free zone, meaning you don't need to have resources to take off, we just send our craft over there, and we launch from there, and then land back at our home base. But we went mad again. We're carving a tunnel, and then we had to speed it up just to. I think we speed it up later on, because we did eventually make a bigger tunnel because we had to evade a certain entity. Sentinels. But yeah, because we mined too much and they just wanted to, that's mine. But we then I think we just make a tunnel and to make a getaway, which is not a recommended way of getting away from anything. Well, I say it's not the fastest, but we did eventually escape. But the plasma grenade launcher needs carbon. You can use thamium and plutonium, but since carbon is a very abundant on this planet, why not? Sometimes plutonium and thamium are a more precious resource, and you don't really want to waste it on something that you'll just use all the time or use senselessly. So I would recommend you just using carbon, because it's abundant on some to most planets. But we're just near to the end of this video, but with a lot just use carbon if you can get it, because thamium and plutonium are too precious to waste, because you need them for your land vehicles, you need them for your mining equipment, your bolts, your gun, effectively your spacecraft and all that. But here we've reached the end of the episode. I see you in the next episode where we continue this journey, and I hope to make more of these. Bye.
2 to the 1, 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe, and I get more ass than a toilet seat. 3 to the 1, 1 to the 3. I met a bad bitch last night in the D. Let me tell you how I made her leave with me. Conversation and Hennessy. I've been to the motherfucking mountaintop.